Close this, close. All right, and I'm gonna share my screen. I share screens. No. Firo community meeting. Share screen. Go live. And let me maximize this. Present.
Um, do you have a 1080?
Oh, how do I do that? Let me present. No, I can't do that. Is it like really minimize and stuff?
It's going to be this one looks
Oh,
okay, but when
why
you
didn't
go,
you present it? You present. You do
no,
the screencasting.
I'm recording as well.
Oh, okay. AJ, could you do the presenting? You have a 180p display. Wait. So who's sharing now? Me?
Yes, you are.
Okay, all right. I'll just I'll just share it. So everyone can see it, right, at the moment?
At the moment, yes, but when you go and present, it becomes super wide for some reason.
Hmm. Well, I'll just present it like this then. I'll link the presentation in the Telegram. Let's see, Firo. Okay, here, and I'll place it in the Discord here. Okay, welcome everyone. Just making sure everyone can hear me. So obviously, there'll be time for questions and stuff. There's actually quite a lot to cover because we missed last month's meeting because we had, had so many things to do. So we'd like to apologize for that. But thank you for everyone for coming. And today we actually like kind of made it like a bit earlier because we wanted to cater to those in the US. We'll see how the turnout is, and we'll shift the times around, see what works for everyone and stuff. Usually it's a couple of hours later. So yeah, we're going to go. I'd like to apologize for also my oh god, things like crashing and stuff. But everyone can still see my screen, right? I can't go full screen for some reason because of my weird white screen. So if I've also linked the presentation inside the in the Google Docs document so people can take a look if you can't see what I'm sharing. So okay, as usual, couple of housekeeping rules of meeting. We're always going to be polite. Strictly, we should be following the agenda. Of course, we'll always have time for questions and answers. So, let's just follow the agenda. There'll be a session at the end if anyone wants to bring out something that isn't covered in the agenda. Of course, when you're not talking, please turn off the mic to avoid interruptions. And yeah, while I'm presenting, don't interrupt until I'm opening it up for questions. So obviously, we usually try to keep these meetings about an hour plus ish, because we're mindful of everyone's time. So try to be concise and to the point with the questions and discussion. And if it gets on too long, we'll probably we can push it off to chat or something else later. All right. So before we begin, I just want to go through the agenda for today. So I don't know how many of you are here for the lottery draw of our Lelantis competition. Anwar, have you started the script yet?
Not yet. I will start it. I'm starting it. And do you want me to share the screen now, or how?
Yeah. I think you can share the screen. But all right. Why don't I let you share the screen for a short while? Yeah. Okay, so what Anwar will be doing is to show that this draw isn't rigged or anything, and that it's fair. First of all, the code to do the lottery draw is public on our GitHub under our Firo org mint underscore lottery. And obviously, we don't know who the addresses are, but Anwar is actually running a script that takes about 10 to 11 minutes to complete because there's just so much data. And the good thing about this script is that the results are replicable. That means like if you run this script, you put in the same amount of data, you will get the same results. So that you know that we didn't rig it in our favor and stuff like that. So for those of you who aren't aware, let me see. On what is it running now? All right, it's running now. Okay, yeah. Let me share the screen. I will share mine again.
It's okay. We both can run at the same time.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, that's nice. All right, great. So for those of you, we have how what was the price again? There's a page on our blog that lists the sort of rules for the lottery draw. So we'll let Anwar run this script in the background so that it's fair. All right. And we've actually had a very good turnout, like I think previously we were only like I can't remember exactly, but maybe about 5,000, 6,000 Lelantus transactions, or rather mints and J mints. But at the end, after this 1 month period had finished, we are now at an anonymity set of 33K, which is really, really high, especially just in 1 month, 1 month of doing this competition. So that what that means is that whenever you do a Lelantis transaction, it has actually sort of like 33,000 possible sources that it could come from, offering much higher anonymity per transaction versus other sort of competing privacy coins. So yeah, we'll leave this running in the background. I mean, you can take a look at Anwa's screen, but we will be continuing to focus on the presentation. Okay, so on April, because we missed the last thing, we know obviously we reactivated the Lantis. All the updates and fixes were pushed. We had help from Pink Panther, which was a black hat, Trail of Bits, and of course our own researchers. And we actually took this chance to actually harden Atlantis further as part of like a defensive debt strategy. That means like if one thing fails, there are other things that catch it. So obviously, having to do this kind of sucked, but we're glad that the damage wasn't very big, and everything's reactivated, and it kind of sort of emphasizes that our strategy in taking this in phases actually makes sense. So yep, thank you for your understanding and patience, and we're really glad that Lelantis is actually really in very heavy use right now. Okay. So we have a lot of research updates that if I just go through them here would take too long to cover. So we have an actually detailed blog post that we posted on May the 17th. And there's been a couple of focuses. One of it, which is basically like privacy preserving light wallets. And what that means is that, instead of having to download the entire blockchain and waste like a couple of hours of your life, you can sync it, in a matter of minutes, in sometimes maybe even seconds or so. And with to do this in a privacy preserving manner, that means that even the server does not really get too much information about it. It's not that easy. But we figured it out. So if you want to take a look at the kind of like draft paper around it, can everyone see this? Yes. All right, great. So this is the paper that Aram wrote, and you can see how we achieved the mathematics to allow light wallet implementation. And it also includes like how to deal with transparent transactions as well, which is following the neutrino route, but I wouldn't go too much into that. We're also spending time on doing a security analysis of Lelantis version 2, basically because now where we Lelantis version 1 is launched. We have finished hardening it, and now we're just doing the optimization. So soon we'll be ready to kind of start work on Lelantis version 2 coding. So obviously the cryptographic paper is out. It's actually been audited before, but we have certain like feedback that maybe we can improve sort of like the security and protocol description of the Atlantis version 2, and we want to kind of make sure we get that done before we go full blown into the Atlantis version 2, just to be very safe. Because once we go into the Atlantis version 2, all amounts are hidden. So we want to make sure that there are no like hidden inflation bugs. So this is pretty important as well. We've also been doing a lot of performance optimizations to make sure the Lantis is scalable. So actually code is already available. If you can go to our research page, you can see all of that there. The code here is not yet peer reviewed and it should not be used for production. So anyone else who is like using our code, please keep that in mind. But they are undergoing review and approval right now. And what that means is that Lelantis will be significantly faster than what it is right now. So that's really exciting as well. We also have other sort of related research work. I think maybe 1 or 2 years ago, we actually released a paper called Hierarchical One of Many Proofs, which was a kind of improvement on the original one of many proofs, which is the basis of Lelantis zero knowledge proof transactions. And proof of concept code is now available to test this and do benchmarking. Another interesting thing that's kind of like a side little project that especially Aram is interested in, because he's really big on like e-voting, is to actually use Lelantis technology in sort of a blockchain e-voting type of system. And that's also really cool, and we should be publishing a paper on that soon as well, because we've been keeping really abreast of the latest changes. We've been looking at what Zcash has been doing. We've been looking at all stuff that has been related to one of many proofs, which is our zero knowledge proof. And some of the cool stuff is that there have been several papers that have been citing, that means referencing hierarchical one of many proofs as a way to improve one of many proofs. So that's pretty cool as well. So yeah, a bit technical, but just to let the geeks out there know that we are still very hard at work and research, and we are one of the few projects that actually, privacy projects that really push research, not just for us, but for everyone else as well. Okay. So does anyone have any questions so far? I'm opening the floor just for a couple of seconds. Does anyone have any questions so far? Okay, if not, I'll be going on. All right, so another cool thing is that we have a new addition to the Firo team. So some of you may have noticed that Dr. Aaron Fakert, who also better known as Sarang Noata, who was actually a key Monero Research Lab researcher. He's joined us full time under a contract with CipherStack, and he's the guy behind Triptych, Arcturus, that are like the main protocols that are being seen to scale Monero's privacy. So now he is working for us full time, so we're really excited about that. And right now he's been helping to make sure that the Lelantis version 2 is secure. He's been doing optimizations to make sure the batch verifications of all of that. And furthermore, we're trying to see how far we can take Lelantis, and of course, having another a world class researcher on board is really important. So we're very happy to have him join the team, and you can already see his lots of work that he's been doing right here. So yeah, I mean, like we can share this. You can see a lot of stuff he's been doing as well. So we're making good use of our new research capabilities as well. Okay, so some of you are really excited about wrap addresses as well. For those of you who don't know, wrap addresses is the first kind of like desktop implementation of BIP47 payment codes. And what it actually allows is for people to share a public address. And when people pay to that address, third parties don't know, like, how much has this address received. And it kind of creates payment channels between parties so that they can generate sort of almost like a almost infinite amount of addresses between each other, and that kind of solves the address reuse problem. So I think some of you may be aware, maybe call it stealth addresses. This is a different way to approach stealth addresses and has certain advantages. And the way that we have also modified this BIP47 is so that we use the Lantus private coin. So this is still privacy preserving. The code's all done. With testings more or less done. With just sort of tidying up a few UI stuff, and that's set to be released on mainnet sometime next week. It doesn't require a hard fork; it's a soft fork. So that means even if you don't update, you're not losing anything. It's just that you probably wouldn't be able to send or receive to this type of new addresses. But yeah, other than that, we're happy to get this out next week. So really excited on that. So any questions so far? If you want to say something, just unmute your mic and ask or type something in the channel and I'll get to it.
That draw
Oh,
is complete.
sorry. Oh, the lottery is complete? Okay, cool. Do you want to post the winning addresses?
Sure. Where do you want it?
I'll just post it in Telegram or somewhere. So yeah, this was a live draw, and these are all the winning addresses. And we'll be sending the prizes sometime today. And we don't know who these winners are, right? So we'll just be sending it based on this lottery draw. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, another thing is the Elysium tokenization layer. So what Elysium is, for those of you who don't know, is to allow basically people to create their own tokens on Firo and be able to enjoy all our Lelantus and Dandelion plus plus privacy features. So that's really cool. The coding work is done. It's actually all ready to be released. We'll probably be releasing a beta on mainnet in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So right now it's actually fully functional. You can actually use it if you compile the code. But we don't have a GUI. We don't have graphical interface or an explorer. So we probably will release this as a beta. Let the more technical minded play with it and stuff like that. And once we finish the GUI and explorer, we can go out with a full Elysium release. So those of you who are technical minded, there is a wiki on how to use Elysium tokenization layer, but wait for us to release the binaries for this Elysium beta in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So this is really exciting as well. It allows people to build private stable coins. You can have your own elections on it. I think Spline Apple has covered it on a previous Firo Frontier episode. So this is kind of like the first phase of it, and we'll be also looking at how can we bridge this into other, let's say if we want to bridge Ethereum tokens into the Elysium tokenization a layer. That means let's say you want to take USDC and anonymize it on Elysium. We're finding out what's the best way to do bridges on this, and that will be really exciting. But of course, if anyone wants to launch their own Elysium tokens right now, they are free to do so. It doesn't need any bridges as it is. So yeah, any questions on that? Okay, all right. Okay, so ProgPow is also another thing that people have been looking forward to. It's a new proof of work algorithm that's been, originally designed for Ethereum, but because they're moving to proof of stake, it didn't really take traction. But it is a really good proof of work algorithm that makes it very ASIC resistant. It's catered to GPUs, and unlike MTP, which has does kind of favor NVIDIA miners, ProgPower is more even between NVIDIA and AMD. And I think one of the biggest benefits is that it is a lot less. It takes up a lot less space. I think it's less a couple of. I think like a couple of 1 or 2 kilobytes or something really small compared to MTP, which is like 200 kilobytes just for the header. So that would make actually the blockchain a lot smaller going forward, and it will also make pools a lot less. They're not going to be overloaded with so much bandwidth. So I think ProgPow is a very good move forward. Right now, the code is actually done. It's still being reviewed. We had two of our main developers go on leave because they've been working so hard. So I gave them 2 weeks leave. So they'll be resuming work fully next week. So then the code review can progress a lot faster now. But right now we're actually just waiting for the minor code to be finalized. So there will be a reference minor both for NVIDIA and AMD, and the code is almost done. I think Andrew just putting some final touches, and it's actually more efficient than current ProgPow reference miner implementation, which is the Kapow miner. So we plan to launch testnet in 1 to 2 weeks. Do some benchmarking so that we know how this flavor of ProgPow performs compared to other stuff, so that we can estimate, what should the difficulty be and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll once we launch the testnet, we welcome miners to, benchmark their stuff and give it a go. So yeah, any questions on this? Very quiet. Okay, I will continue then. Don't say I didn't give people a chance. Okay, so instant send. So originally we had thought that instant send would have been a lot quicker to implement, because like Dash has already done it and stuff like that. But because if we want Lelantis support for instant send, which is what we want, there is quite a bit of modifications that need to be done. And on a technical level, is because instant send in dash form kind of locks the inputs to make sure that they unspent. But because the Atlantis transactions don't really have input, so we have to kind of like lock the serial numbers. So that there needs to be some modification to be done to support Atlantis. It is not going to be like, oh yeah, this is going to take like years, but maybe like a couple of like 2 or 3 months to get it done. So that's we are still working on it, definitely. But yeah, just be patient on it. This is something that it's not as simple as just like taking the code. There is some modification work to be done. Mobile work is progressing very smoothly. The mobile backend Lelantis work has begun. And of course, we have already done the UI design, the fingerprint support, QR coding well as well underway. Hopefully I'll get to share some of this quite soon. But it is definitely a priority for us to get like a working mobile wallet with Lelantis support, right? So this part, I really kind of need everyone's input here. Even if you are shy to talk, please, load, talk in the Telegram channel or Discord channel. Just post it here, and is what's everyone's thoughts on DeFi integrations, right? So of course, Torchain is a priority for us. We do have a call scheduled with them to speak about how we can get integrated with Torchain. And Torchain is kind of, in a way, it's a very good way to. It's a good synergy, right? Because we are looking for decentralized exchanges, and Torchain is basically a cross-chain decentralized exchange. And one of the problems with existing decentralized exchange has been liquidity, right? So, like for example, we have Atomic DEX, right, which allows it's a decentralized exchange that supports atomic swaps with any with like the supported chain. So I can swap from Bitcoin to Firo or whatever it is. But the issue is that it requires people to place orders, place like I want to sell my Firo for X amount and stuff like that. And that kind of limits how much liquidity there is, especially for like when you're bootstrapping stuff. While if you're looking at like the Tor chain route, which is kind of like a Uniswap for cross chain, it just instead of having individual orders, you have this sort of like large people place money into this liquidity pool, so you don't have to worry. There will always be liquidity for it, and you don't have to worry about people placing orders. So we do think that a Tor chain integration would be great. I don't think the work should be that hard. It's probably about like 2 months of integration work. But obviously, Tor chain has been really busy right now. They just launched their one of their major products, I think, very recently, and they're just catching up on the backlog. But I have a good relationship with them, so we'll definitely looking to integrate with them. So that one, I think, is definitely going forward. So that's something that yeah, I mean, if people want to weigh in on that, is good. But I don't think there's much controversy there. But I think one thing that we really have to think about is how much do we actually want to be integrating with all these sort of DeFi yield farms, right? Like for example, in BSC, a lot of people have been asking us, well, why don't you integrate with PancakeSwap, right? Now, first of all, just to sort of how do I place this? The PancakeSwap is kind of like the leading, like it's like the Uniswap of Binance Smart Chain, right? And Binance Smart Chain right now, not for the Binance Smart Chain itself, but because just of the general quality of the projects and because flash loans have been recently enabled, there has been so much hacks on these farms on BSC right now, and later we'll talk about the one that we experience as well. And I think it's like hundreds of millions of dollars have been lost on the smart contract platforms. So obviously we can integrate with, let's say, like one of the bigger ones like PancakeSwap. But the thing is that yes, we can create a pool, but there wouldn't be any sort of yield farm rewards, because if you want to get yield farm rewards, then first of all, the core team has to provide uh, part of the rewards, and then Pancake would also have to provide part of the rewards. And the amount of rewards, you're looking at like a six-figure US dollar amount that comes from the core team. So people have to think about like, well, is this worth it? It's almost the same cost as like a tier A centralized exchange listing. And are people actually going to be using these pancake swap, or is it just a way to like earn money and grow stuff? So I've always seen like this as more of an experiment to grow the awareness of Firo, and also make it like DeFi capable. But I'm also very cognizant that this may just turn out to be a kind of a fad, especially the yield farms. I mean, DeFi is here to stay, but a lot of these yield farm incentives are will only last as long as people pay, right? So I want everyone's opinions on this, because if you're talking about 100,000, 200,000 US dollars, like that funds like a very good developer for a whole one or two developers for the entire year. And yeah, does anyone have anything to say on that? Because I just want people to realize that, it's not that we don't want to integrate, it just costs a lot of money with questionable benefits. It's like, are we pumping money into a fad, or is this something that will provide long-term growth to the project? So like I would be more willing to pump stuff into like Torchain, but like all these BSC farms and stuff like that, I'm a bit more hesitant. So I want everyone's feedback on that. Does anyone have any opinions? If not, yes. Where's the question? What, Valis, is it? Can we wait for these protocols to mature before adopting? It's kind of rough since most don't seem to be used. Yeah, so this is kind of like a tough question, right? I mean, BSC in itself is just an Ethereum fork. So, I mean, it is mature in itself, but then the new stuff that is coming out, like like PancakeSwap is a fork of Uniswap, right? It technically should be mature, but for some reason or another, I mean, Pancake hasn't been hacked, but BurgerSwap has been hacked, and all these other variants that are basically Uniswap or balancer forks. And somehow even forking seems to introduce bugs as well. Um, so yes, audits have been done on these projects, but to expect us as the project to audit it ourselves, and to make sure like the coverage of the audits are in full is a bit tough, right? And The other flip side is that if we wait until like, oh, they have become like the Uniswap, they have become so mature, chances are that we're not going to be at the top of their priority list to integrate, right? Because they already mature, they don't really need they don't really need us. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg problem. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, like, stuff like Torchain to me is a bit of a no-brainer. Like, yeah, definitely you should give it a go. But stuff like, Pancake Swap, am I willing to spend like 100, $200,000 on that? Because I see it being mentioned so often. It's like, why don't you integrate? Why are we so useless and stuff like that? I want people to know why. Like, if you guys really, really want it, you want us to, like, instead of spending this money on development or research and to put it into this, we'll do it. But yeah. So yeah, I appreciate any feedback on that. Okay. All right. I'll continue talking about the other stuff. So I mean, some of you guys and like this is also kind of like highlights the risk of DeFi, right? Like this is risky stuff, right? Cryptocurrencies are risky, but DeFi platforms are even more so, right? And I hope that people really understand that we do not have the capability to go on ourselves and audit the platforms that we partner with. We can do like, we definitely make sure that, okay, has there some been audits done? Is this a legit project? Has there been a responsible team behind it? And we do those type of like background checks, make sure that they are not like, just some unknown scammy platform. But at the same time, to expect us to go through their stuff and make sure there's no bugs, I think that's kind of unrealistic. So I hope that people realize that if you want us to partner up with more DeFi farms, it is at your own risk. And it obviously, of course, incurs a cost on the core team as well. And I want people to realize that, like, do you want us as the core team to further push this type of integrations? For example, like what happened with Value DeFi, right? Like, the entire pool was totally wrecked. And right now it does seem that, Value DeFi will be trying to find a way to compensate, but it's gonna take a while for them to structure that out. Stakehound, I don't know if you people are aware, but ST which is not related as the stake ETH component seems to have some sort of problem. It's not a smart contract vulnerability. I believe Stakehound will be making some sort of announcement soon. But for those of you who are holding ST Firo, you don't have to worry because that part is unaffected. It's not hacked. Is secure at the moment. But the fact that the stake ETH portion may have some issues, it's something to be. It just kind of highlights how risky this whole thing is. So I just want to caution everyone on that and realize that as bullish as I am on DeFi as a whole, it is also the Wild West, and I hope people realize that we cannot guarantee that these DeFi platforms are without vulnerabilities. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Anyone has any feedback? Um. Right. I will be continuing. uh. Yeah, where are we right now? Okay, so yeah, I mean, for those of you who have noticed, we do have an official Binance Smart Chain integration. That means you can withdraw Firo into the Binance Smart Chain. You can do it direct either through the Binance bridge or through the Binance itself, and you can withdraw it into your Binance Chain wallet or whatever it is. So that's really cool. As to how we're going to use it, should we just create a pancake swap pool with some money there? But to make the pool kind of worthwhile for people to use would require millions of dollars of US dollars to kind of make it worthwhile. And it is not. I don't know about like if the community is willing to do that. Yeah, but I don't know if the core team has that sort of amount of funds ready to bootstrap liquidity on pancake swap. So While we can definitely start a pool, it requires users to add to it. So maybe we'll do that, but it's not gonna have. You're not gonna earn anything more than the swap fees. There's not gonna be any sort of like syrup rewards or stuff like that. So we also recently got listed on Guardian, which is kind of like a fiat gateway. You can basically, buy Firo directly using US dollars and euro using bank transfers and stuff. So that's cool. Obviously, the fees are quite high, but it's another option for those of you who just want to go direct from euro or US dollars to buy Firo. So that's really cool. Um, we also got listed on one of the largest exchanges in Vietnam that also supports like their own sort of e-payment platform. I don't know how to pronounce it, Vettel Pay or something like that. And it has three pairings: USDT, BTC, and ETH. As you can just even see from the chat, it seems that we have quite a few Vietnamese Firo words. So yeah, I hope people use this. Yeah. So on community side, we've been trying to work on the volunteer division that people would help. Like, obviously as a kind of like a, semi-decentralized project, we don't have because we don't have like huge allocations of money to ourselves, we don't have VCs and all this sort of stuff. Obviously, as a community project, it does mean that community has to promote it, right? Like who promotes Monero, who promotes Litecoin, right? It has to come from the community themselves. And obviously, we would like to, like people who just liking a tweet, retweeting it or like pushing out our helping to push out our official announcements really really helps. So if anyone wants to participate, you're welcome to join this. Just post in the chat that you are interested, and it's not gonna make you rich, but now and then we'll like put some airdrops and give it to people who have actually helped us to spread the word out. So yeah, if you see an opportunity to help like promote Firo, please do take the initiative. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, what about marketing, what about marketing, like why don't you ask Bitcoin, why don't you ask Litecoin, like who does the marketing there, right? If you want us to do marketing, you need to give us a lot more money than what we have currently to do effective marketing campaigns. Like if you take a look at Cardano, they have like world class marketing companies that they are willing to spend like millions of dollars on to make that happen. So if we don't have that, then you want it to be decentralized. You want it, you don't like a very large development fund, then it has to be the responsibility has to be on the community members to do this. We can provide you resources, we can provide you like cool graphics to use, but at the end of the day, it really is a collective responsibility. We're here to look after the project, but it's not a for-profit company, right? So yeah, another one of the really cool initiatives right now that I think has been quite interesting is our Firo tip bot. So if you see on Telegram, we've been like just sending like random envelopes of money that people can click on and get some Firo. This is actually pretty good because like like many like especially if you're going into a new community, you just airdrop them a few Firo, and immediately if they want to withdraw it, they have to think about, okay, what wallet I'm going to use, learn more about Firo. And the great thing about this tip bot is that every single transaction that goes through it is Lelantus anonymized. So even if you withdraw, it's also through Lelantus technology. So it's a great showcase of our technology. I would recommend that, of course, the wallet is completely controlled by us. So don't put large amounts of money in it. But it's a fun way to like, get your friends earning their first few Firo to say thanks to people that you like. And I would recommend everyone to use it. But please don't put large amounts of money that you can't afford to lose. It is at your own risk. We're just doing this as something fun, and to encourage people to speak in our channels, to participate in our channels, or to introduce Firo to new people. Okay, so we also have like a partnership with Cryptotek. Is a decentralized freelance project. Basically, is you can post job postings on it, and yeah, it's powered by blockchain. You can take a look more at the announcement that we have. Also, would like to make a special shout out to the Arcadia Group, who has been a really big supporter of our project for a very long time. They recently donated 10,000 US dollars to Firo via the Open Collective. So obviously, while we do have a development fund, at times it may not be sufficient. Currently, it is okay at about like $7, $8. We are in a comfortable situation, but still like not in a situation where we can simply spend millions of dollars here and there. As everyone knows, we get about 15,960 coins per Firo per month to do with development. And currently we have about 24 people that are working for us. So if you divide that, it's not a lot of money, right? Because we have community managers, we have PR, we have our developers, we have our researchers, we have me. I hope everyone realizes, like, running this isn't cheap. And obviously, there's no compulsion to donate to it. But if you do want to see something funded, if you just like to show some thanks to that, you can donate through Open Collective, and it will help defray some of our costs. So this is really cool. That Arcadia did this, like, totally on their own accord. So that's really cool. So right, yeah, we announced the winners. Let me. So I think we posted the winners already in the winning addresses. So again, we'll be sending that out sometime today. Just hang in tight, and we'll post a full announcement once we have completed the distribution as well. So yeah, now it's time for questions and discussions. You can type. If you want to talk, just unmute your mic and ask a question, and we'll do our best to explain stuff. Yeah.
A reminder to the winners: don't forget to anonymize.
Yes. Please anonymize after you have received the reward. Right. Seems like
And so I
no.
want, I want to ask about the release of mobile wallet, and
Yes.
previously you said that it will be released in 1 or 2 years or sooner. I think. Can you confirm that?
Yes. Yes. I don't think it's gonna take like the entire year. We hope to release it by the end of the year. So I would say I think 6 months is a realistic estimate, but hopefully less. Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
I want to ask about the wrapping tech too. I think you just have that updated on Firo, right?
What tech two? Sorry.
The wrapping tech, like
Oh,
all the, yeah.
rep addresses. Is that right?
No, the wrapping, like other coins can use
Oh,
Leyland Trust
the
technology.
bridging, right? Yeah. So there. I think this one is gonna be more long term. Is definitely. I don't think it will be realistically. We probably can start working on it this year. We are still in the concept stage because to do it in a decentralized manner is not easy. However, there are, like, for example, if you're talking about individual ways. I mean, like, there's ways like rent and stuff like that. I would say don't expect it this year. We will probably can start work sometime this year, but it's not going to be that soon. Yeah, it's not trivial. It requires a whole team to do it. There are ways to kind of introduce, like Poramin, which is our founder, who was also talking about, if you want to really have like full bridging, you might have to introduce smart contract capabilities to Firo, which sounds good on paper until you realize that, well, that also increases so much risk. Um, So we're trying to see if we can find a way to, like, kind of be in between where we have some sort of limited capabilities to allow this type of bridging, but not full smart contract capability. But it's a bit hard to tell right now because honestly, the tech that requires bridging, like, has is a problem big enough in itself that, like, there are whole projects that focus on this, right? Like, for example, like WAN chain or Tor chain. It's all about wrapping, or like Ren, the whole project is about doing this type of wrapping, and some of them only like wrap for Ethereum, right? I do think that is definitely something that we are actively thinking about, but I don't think you can expect it within the next 6 months. Yeah. Okay.
Well, at least I have
Uh
a question regarding the paper on voting.
yeah. Okay. Read Aaron's paper on voting a little while back and found it super interesting. Do you foresee some type of prototype with the community in the future to test the implementation? Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is something. Well, I mean, Aram has been trying to see as whether we can even work with potentially other chains or other project that are interested in getting this working on them. Definitely is something that we can work on with Elysium. But yeah, it's probably, yes, as you know, it's probably something a bit of a ways off, right? Especially we kind of want to wait until Atlantis is in a very, very good state. But definitely it is something that we are looking in. But I can't speak too much because, like, it's not like confirmed, right? Yeah. Do you have any marketing plan for Firo in the year? Yeah, I just talked about it. So really interested to hear what does marketing mean besides. Okay, so let's talk a bit about marketing, right? Um, a lot of people say, okay, why don't we do marketing? So what are the ways we can do marketing? We can pay influencers, right? That's one way. And in my experience, we have tried doing it before. We have paid for coverage by influencers. Some are not paid, some are paid. And the return on investment is, I would say, questionable. Just to sort of give you a ballpark figure of how much needs to be spent on an influencer, you're talking about a couple of $1,000 per video. Okay. So one video on a mid-tier influencer, maybe with 50, 60K, or maybe even 100K followers, you pay, 5, 6,000, well, which is almost like equivalent to like, paying a developer for 1 month. Does it bring rewards? Generally, the ones that we found that we paid for have limited impact, but the ones that actually have been organically covered, those actually have been a lot more successful. Like, like, for example, like Coins Kit recently featured us, Coin Biro also featured us, and those ones have been a lot more high impact, the ones that we do not pay for. And how do these projects actually learn, like, how did this influencer learn about us is purely through, word of mouth. People, it is better for one of their audiences or for their people to say, like, hey, why don't you check this out, rather than us as the core team telling them that they should feature us. Of course, we are constantly pushing and promoting it to them, but it is also very because you see, influencers, they require stuff that is being hyped right now, right? Like, if NFTs are hot, they should be covering NFTs right now. Right now, no one's really talking about privacy unless it's like a privacy focused thing. And, like, we get like sub coverage from Naomi Broadwell. That one's totally not paid. And but it has to be like there has to be interest in the project. All the influencers himself is actually interested in privacy. The way you do like the paid ones, they're just gonna ask you generic questions, and yeah, it gets you some exposure, but is it worth it spending, like, one video for 5,000 US dollars or so? So yeah. So yeah, there are also other ways, like, of course, PR is one way to do it. We do have someone that's working on PR for us. That's always pushing our stories to reporters and stuff. We have a very good relationship with CoinDesk, so you'll see that a lot of our new developments are being pushed by CoinDesk. But like Cointelegraph and stuff, it has been challenging, especially as we are seen as a lower market cap coin. So yeah, it is something that we are doing, but there's no miracle for it. If you talk about press releases, those also cost a lot of money with questionable results. Like if you want to use something like PR Newswire, one release maybe costs like just to put out a release is like 6 to 7 thousand US dollars. So I hope people understand the costs that are involved, right? So what is the best way? What's the highest yield per dollar spent? And that's why we do things like the tip bot. We start like Telegram communities, but at the end of the day, it is still up to people to join us. Obviously, if you have a favorite crypto influencer that you follow regularly, just mentioning us, telling them that why don't you cover us, helps us a lot, and that's how we get a lot of the really meaningful interviews. So we would really appreciate that. So First Man has talked about we are Vietnamese people. We're holding much of Firo together. Do you want to build a small group of Firo? There is actually a Vietnamese Firo group. Let me just link that. With already, I think 358 people. Uh, So yeah, you're welcome to join that. And we do have a community manager there as well. So definitely, we love you guys. So yeah. Um but honestly, like if you guys have um any suggestions on how we can do Firo, like market Firo, like if you're gonna say why no marketing, tell us what you want to see us to do. And then I can lay out how much it was gonna cost, and then you can say, all right, is this worth it or not, right? Because remember, this project's not just ours; it belongs to everyone, right? So, but we do have budgets to adhere to. Yeah.
I want to ask that why do you choose to marketing on YouTube? I mean, YouTube is, I think, personally, I think YouTube is not a good option to do marketing, and
Okay.
I want
So
to
what
hear your
what
opinion.
what would your suggestion be instead of YouTube?
No, 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 no. I just want to hear your opinion about YouTube. I mean, um, I haven't seen like any cryptocurrency that do marketing on YouTube, and I want to know why you do that.
Sorry, are you saying that we haven't been doing anything on YouTube, or are you saying that why we have been focusing on YouTube, or why we haven't focused on YouTube?
No, I want to ask that why do you choose to marketing on YouTube? What is the reason?
What is the reason we do marketing on YouTube? Um, well, I don't know. I mean, I thought that was like kind of self-evident that lots of people use YouTube, and obviously our YouTube channel could use more people to watch it, but like we want to give video updates, right? If we want to give video updates, where's the best place to put video updates? To us, it's YouTube. I don't really know where else should we be putting long form video updates, like 5 to 6 minute long, because I don't know if we can do a video update on TikTok, right? To talk about technology stuff. But yeah, like if you have a suggestion, because I guess the idea is that it's not like we focus on YouTube, but if you want to do video updates, you want to do long form, like we want to make sure that people know that we are genuine and like understand this. We think YouTube is a great way to get this video updates, but you have some other platforms to promote video forms, then sure. Yeah. I think every YouTube video that is that is posted also is posted to another like decentralized platform, which I think it's called library, like LBRY. Oh yeah, TikTok marketing. I would love that we did. No, it's not that cheap. I have spoken to TikTok influencers, and they are looking at 6 7,000 US dollars as well, just for like a short TikTok that has honestly no substance. It's just like buy Firo, it's gonna go up to like X number of percent, and yeah, I mean that kind of works, but that shouldn't come from the core project itself, because that makes us that we are telling people to buy it as a financial investment, and that really puts us in that may classify us as a security, and I don't think it's our job to tell people to buy Firo. We can tell people about what we're doing, what we are good at, what we're trying to, but I don't think it's smart for us. Like, you don't see, unless the really scammy projects, the only projects, if you want to tell people to buy it, it can't come from us, and it shouldn't come from us. Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Does anyone have any other questions?
or perhaps was he talking about like maybe taking out an ad on YouTube, like when in the middle of those, like when people was watching a video and then it's like boom, there's an ad. Maybe that guy was referring to like those kind of ads on YouTube that come in
Yeah.
between like other people's videos.
I mean, that's definitely possible. I mean, I think it's only very recently that all these platforms start allowing crypto advertisements before. So we previously did do some Facebook promotions, Twitter promotions, until it was kind of banned. And then since it's been reopened, we haven't tried it again. But I guess it's something maybe we can look into restarting. But yes, it is basically the best marketing is word of mouth. But obviously, we aren't closed off to trying other ways of doing it, especially if it's if we don't have to spend like millions of dollars of money, right? Yeah. So
Hello.
that's why I feel like spending money on Pancake Swap, it was just like 200,000 300,000 US dollars, is better spent on like maybe on YouTube ads or Twitter ads. But I'm not gonna spend like that much upfront. We just probably like spend a couple of thousand US dollars, see how it goes, and then scale it up and down, basically to see how effective it is. But we would like someone that is experienced in doing this. We previously worked with Brian Colwell. Maybe we can look him up again. But if you have anyone else in mind that is experienced in this, and especially not just experience in social media marketing, but getting crypto ads across, we're definitely open to that. Yeah.
Hello, I have a question. Uh,
Yes.
Social marketing, I think, is good, but did you have contact with the big finance organization? I think with them, they can push to the
Like who?
community.
Like who? What big
Um,
finance organization?
uh, at this time, I don't have the name, but I think with um, with their money and their experience in finance, they can push the community uh, improvement.
Yeah, so you have to realize what we are. What are we trying to do? We are a cryptocurrency, right? And all this talk about what are we trying to displace? We're trying to displace these financial institutions, right? We are trying to make them, be an alternative to them. So asking them for help, unless you are Ripple, that's willing to go through all sorts of really weird ways to get promotion. I think financial institutions are not the correct focus of who we should be targeting with, because honestly, they're kind of like they're enemies, right? They are the ones, they don't allow cryptocurrency companies to open bank accounts with them, right? um the I mean, like, of course everyone's talking about grayscale and stuff like that now. Like, realistically, I mean, this is gonna sound crappy, but like, you want to get listed on Coinbase, you want to get listed on all this type of things, it requires it requires some amount of venture capital backing, and probably this is what you're talking about, right? Like, you're talking about professional funds, people with a lot of money to push things and stuff like that. And how do I place it? You There is always a cost, right? So, because we are not a new project, we don't have control of, like, like, for example, with other projects, let's say like Avalanche or whatnot, right? You you basically allocate the funds up front. You say like 30% to team, 30% to marketing, 30% to exchange listings, right? That's not how we operate right now. Even as it is, 15% to the development team, people are saying that we are centralized, right? But yet they want us to do all this other stuff as well, which other teams have 30% of the supply, or 50, 60% of the supply of their coin to do it. So I want you to realize that you cannot be decentralized and expect us to do all of this ourselves, right? So even, let's say, like a fund that approaches us, right? What are we going to sell them? How? Because they're not going to just support us like this, right? They will say, okay, what are you going to give us in return for our support? And generally, what that means, it means a certain allocation of the tokens itself. What can us as the core team give to them? We don't have control of the network because it's decentralized. We have a 15% block reward that's meant to fund our development. And yes, we can take this amount and sell it to a VC, and they'll take it and they'll probably buy it at some sort of discount, right? So that means if the price of Firo goes up, we are just stuck with the VC money, but then we don't benefit from the increase. And it also means that we are now kind of like putting our eggs in one basket, right? Like 15,000, 16,000 Firo per month in the grand scale of things isn't a lot of money. How much is it worth now? Let's see. 16,000 times let's say 8. It's 128,000 US dollars a month. Which huge financial institution is going to say like, oh yeah, we're going to, like, that means in 1 year it's is 1.5 million. So if we gave it all to them, they want a discount from it, right? And if it doesn't work out, then what? Right? We have dealt with very nasty seed investors, and we just got rid of one, like, just like a couple of months ago. And you can either choose to go down the VC route, and basically means, all right, this is going to be a company, this is going to be run by a single VC, or you want to constantly try to move in this decentralized way. Um, it's not wrong on either way, but you have to be realistic, right? Like who are we going to sell ourselves to? It's like selling our soul. We can do it, but we have to find the right. And actually, recently I got an offer to sell ourselves, basically sell the community fund to another one of these like so-called investment funds, right? But then they couldn't tell me like what are they going to provide in return. They're like, oh yeah, we have a lot of connections. We'll introduce you to so and whatnot, and we're like, that's too much of a risk to take. If I'm going to sell off the entire dev reward, and you're just going to giving me like just some empty promises. So I hope people realize that it is not so straightforward of getting people to invest in us, right? So I think it is better, rather than what VC we can sell our funds to, unless you want us to create coins out of thin air and give it to these VCs. If you want to remain as a decentralized project for the people, then you guys better have to take responsibility, right? Or yeah, it's just no point. Yeah.
Um, can I ask that why is Firo is not on FCAS?
What's FCIS?
FCAS is a website that many cryptocurrencies, and many people invest based on the FCAS ratings.
Could you post the URL in the chat?
Is it FCAS?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I think we do have a rating on them. Maybe it might be under Zcoin, right? Is that what it is? Okay. Anyone else that have any other questions?
So if we have marketing strategy that we can like discuss with you, who can we discuss with?
You're willing, you can place it in the project. There's nothing that needs to be hidden, right? So, paste it. We can create there is a channel called marketing in the Discord channel, or you can paste it in the main Telegram channel. And, if it's something that requires like some sort of coordination, we can create mini groups for it. But yeah, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I texted in the marketing box, but it got pushed over. So I think it is better because my team holds a lot of Firo, and we can like advise you to do if like we have something to discuss.
hmm sure.
So
But I mean, like, like I'm actually watching the marketing channel, and I know some of you in there, but like like when you see stuff like use Firo to pay hookers, and or why don't we put like the mascot on everything? Obviously, some suggestions are good, some suggestions aren't. But yeah, I mean, sure, if you guys have, but like I'm gonna be very frank here. If you have a marketing like plan to execute, you have to give us something concrete, right? Like, why don't we approach a financial institution when you can't even name a single financial institution to do it, right? So it has to be something concrete, right? It is something that is something actionable, rather like, oh, the price of Firo is very low. Do you have any big plan on marketing? What do you expect us to do? Right? I have laid out everything that we have been doing, and I am very open to suggestions. But stuff like, oh, like use Firo to pay hookers, use like get Elon Musk, what of this? Like, is there anything actionable there? Right? I'm not trying to be, a smart aleck, but you have to realize that I need something actionable, not just people easy to talk about. Oh yeah, we need more people. We need more marketing. What does that mean, right? We definitely, if someone has a very good background in marketing, sure, but we'll definitely be willing to consider that. But it has to be something concrete, not just an idea that has no teeth behind it. Yeah. Okay, I think we have enough questions. I'm gonna open it for maybe another couple of minutes. Does anyone else have any other questions? If not, I think we've already passed the 1 hour mark. Uh yeah. Okay, great. So I'll be ending this call, and thanks for attending. It was pretty good turnout. I would recommend, first of all, if anyone wants to help out, the one thing that you can do for free, if you aren't already subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel, click the little bell button, subscribe to our Twitter channel, subscribe to our Telegram channel. It really helps, the numbers help. We could obviously, buy and pad it with like fake followers, which is what a lot of projects do, but I'd rather not do that. So if you take a look like many other channels, take a look at Monero's one. It's only got 7,500 users. So our Telegram channel with 5,000 users, it's organic, it's not fake, right? While you see other small little projects with like 30,000, 40,000 followers, those are being paid. So I'm not a big fan of padding numbers. So I hope people understand that other people are faking it. So you know, we can go down that path if people want, but I rather not. So if there are no other questions, thank you for joining us. We'll be posting this on YouTube, or like whatever video platform you think we should be posting this on. And obviously we are always available on the chats. But if you have a serious proposal, like if you want something to be discussed, the forum is the best place to do it. All right, thank you very much.